Continuing with a review of the midterm quiz. Number 11, formation of a thunderstorm requires a lifting mechanism. Which of the following are lifting mechanisms? Mountains or topography, also known as orographic effects, are definitely a factor which can cause lifting and potential thunderstorms. Cold fronts are a collision between a colder air mass and a warmer air mass, and this collision, one air mass definitely has to get out of the way, and as the only way that an air mass can get out of the way is to move upward. So the passage of a cold front does also provide a lifting mechanism. High humidity, on the other hand, doesn't change the density of air enough to cause a lifting. It changes it, but only a small amount. And high humidity doesn't physically lift air masses either. So C is out, and the appropriate answers for this question are A and B. So they'll be the answer to select is D. To qualify for a severe thunderstorm, this question, maybe it needs one or two slight changes in wording, but to qualify for a thunderstorm, formation of any tornado without regard to its Fujita classification would automatically make a thunderstorm severe. A thunderstorm that had hail that's 2 inches in diameter is well above the minimum standard for a severe thunderstorm, and winds of 60 miles per hour are above the minimum wind velocity for a severe thunderstorm. And just because these two numbers don't match the exact minimums for a thunderstorm, they're still quite sufficient. They're more than the minimum needed. So all three of these, all of the above, would classify a particular thunderstorm as severe. Moving on to the next one. Hazards associated with a thunderstorm which cause numerous deaths each year. Lightning is a very significant hazard which kills tens to even 100 people in a particular year just in the U.S. Flash floods, due to the intense precipitation, are even more dangerous than lightning. Hail, however, is not a significant cause of death, even though it's associated with a thunderstorm. And the question does say hazards which cause numerous deaths each year. So hail is not one of those. There was a severe storm in Africa this past week, which had intense hail, and the overall storm did kill a fairly large number of people. However, those people were killed by flooding in that storm, not the actual hail part of the storm. So the news reports were a little bit confusing on that some of you saw. What is necessary for a hurricane? An intense hydrograph is a decoy answer. A hydrograph is a measure of stream flow, and I don't know what an intense hydrograph would mean, so that's a decoy answer. Hurricanes do require minimal wind shear. If the wind shear is too great, the hurricane's unique and vital structure will be torn apart, and it won't be able to grow and feed off and use its structure and circulation to feed itself off of the energy from the ocean. So B is a good answer. And sea surface temperatures that are quite warm, 79, 80, 81, in some cases maybe even 82 or more, approximately 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, are necessary. So warm sea surface temperatures and minimum vertical wind shear, B and C. The hurricane season in our area, eastern U.S., Gulf Coast, peaks in June when the sunshine is strongest. That's false. The peak of hurricane season is beginning of September, when the sea surface temperatures are strongest or highest. The Fujita scale is based entirely on damage, because that's the only thing that can be measured for a tornado. It's very hard to locate a tornado, to place instrumentation. However, it is possible to observe the damage after a tornado is passed. So it's that which is used to, the damage is used to classify tornadoes. The life cycle of a tornado always ends with the rope. That's the last dying phase of a tornado, when the funnel becomes thinner and wobblier, like a whipping rope. So the answers to this would have to be either A or D. And in most cases, the tornado can't start as a mature. It starts as a funnel. So the first step is always the formation of a funnel. Then mature is the mid phase, and then the dying phase of a tornado is the rope phase. A heat wave, a prolonged period of excessively cool weather, that's a contradiction. That answer doesn't make any sense. In the answer 18b, the suggestion is that the temperature, in the description of a particular day, in answer B, we have a cool night, then it gets super hot, but then cools down again. And that is contrary to the principle of why a heat wave is significant or dangerous. So it goes right to its definition. If the temperature cools down relatively quickly, it's much less dangerous than if it's prolonged. So B is a bad answer. A 2-week period where high temperatures are close to average, that doesn't make any sense. And a heat wave is not actually an ocean wave, so the answer that's left is D, a prolonged period of excessively hot weather, which may be accompanied by high humidity. So the best answer is 18D. What process or factor can make a wildfire spread faster? Spotting is an important process by which the fire at in the canopy of the top of a burning canopy, where chunks of smoldering or burning material fall off and spread, fall in other places and start new fires. Winds are very important because winds transfer the heat from the burning place to the unburned portions and preheat the fuel. Latent heat has nothing to do with forest fires. Radiant heat is what's important. Latent heat is a decoy answer. Radiant heat is important. The heat from the burning fire is able to preheat fuel, dry out and preheat fuel ahead of it. Radiant heat would be important. National Weather Service and a blizzard, what's necessary? Blizzards and freezing rain are different phenomenon, entirely different. So D and E are out. C has some merit to it, although if you may recall that the definition of a blizzard does not include temperature. It's probably cold when there's a blizzard, because if there's high winds and snow, it means it's cold enough for snow, and the wind chill is probably very cold, but that temperature is not an actual part of the definition. So so since temperature is in B and C, they're out. The correct answer is A. Wind speed, the visibility, and it has to last for at least 3 hours. So that's the official definition of a blizzard.